Have you ever wondered where big, world-changing ideas really come from? Is it just a sudden flash of genius? Or is there maybe something more to this story? Well, today we're going to trace the real origins of a big idea.
We all know that classic image, right? The single inventor toiling away in a lab, the lone thinker sitting under a tree, and then suddenly, bam, a light bulb goes on over their head. It's a fantastic story, the myth of the lone genius.
But is that really how history-making breakthroughs happen? Come on. When you take a closer look, it turns out this popular story is actually missing some pretty crucial pieces of the puzzle. So to get the full picture, we've got to stop thinking of ideas as these lonely orphans that just appear out of nowhere. Instead, we need to start seeing them as part of a really rich lineage, a family tree, if you will. And that brings us to the core concept here, intellectual genealogy.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Just like you can trace your own family tree, we can trace an idea's history. It has parents, the ideas that came directly before it, and it even has distant ancestors. This method shows us that ideas don't just appear, they evolve.
So how do we do it? Well, think of it like being a detective. We're going to use a simple little investigative toolkit here with 3 main clues that will help us uncover the true story behind pretty much any idea.
These are our 3 main lines of inquiry. We're going to look at what came before, what the world was like at the time, and who was involved. So let's break each one of these down.
Our first clue is realizing that no thinker, and I mean no thinker, ever starts from a completely blank slate. They inherit a kind of intellectual scaffolding from the past. They're always in conversation with the ideas and the thinkers who came before them.
Now, this inheritance can be their formal academic training. It could be foundational texts like those from the Enlightenment philosophers, or it could even be the established rules and norms that they decide to break. It's the intellectual capital they start out with.
Okay, next up, ideas are always a product of their time. The world itself provides the raw material, all the problems that need solving, and the big questions that desperately need an answer. You could almost call the context of the era a potent crucible for new thought. I mean, think about it, right? The French Revolution kicked off a wave of new ideas about liberty and rights. The Industrial Revolution created these totally new economic realities that thinkers like Karl Marx and Adam Smith had to grapple with. Context is absolutely everything.
In our final clue, this one reveals that thinking is often a team sport. Real progress is rarely a solo act. It happens inside this web of human interaction, with mentors, collaborators, and even rivals.
This network can look like the vibrant debates happening in Parisian salons, or the collaborative spirit you'd find in the Bloomsbury Group, or even the fierce arguments with intellectual rivals. All of these interactions are what sharpen, refine, and ultimately spread new ideas.
All right, so we've got our 3 clues. We know what to look for. Now let's apply our new detective skills to a few famous examples and see if we can crack these case files.
Let's take Sir Isaac Newton. The myth, of course, is the apple falling on his head. But the reality, well, he inherited the foundational work of giants like Galileo and Descartes. And he sharpened his own theories in heated debates with his network, which included rivals like Robert Hooke and Gottfried Leibniz.
We see the exact same pattern in the intellectual inheritance of modern democracy. It wasn't one person's idea. John Locke was responding to his context, then Rousseau built on and critiqued him, and then Kant came along and synthesized them both. They were literally in a dialogue with each other across generations.
Or how about the Harlem Renaissance? It wasn't just a collection of brilliant individuals working in isolation. No way. It was a dynamic, living, breathing intellectual ecosystem. Figures like W.E.B. Du Bois, Langston Hughes, and Zora Neale Hurston all influenced each other, creating this complex, beautiful web of shared inspiration.
So, okay, why does tracing this family tree actually matter? Well, because it gives us a much more accurate and, frankly, a way more interesting picture of how progress actually happens. It's not magic. It's a cumulative, interconnected, very human endeavor.
I think this quote just sums it all up perfectly. An idea is a conversation with the past, a solution for the present, and a gift to the future. So instead of the lone genius, we find that the connected creator is the reality.
By understanding this, we can really appreciate how knowledge is built and maybe even get better at contributing to it ourselves. So the next time you encounter a big idea, just ask yourself, what's its story? What's its family tree?